that's dope.
In the laser project, we had to make the lasers reflective mirrors and hit a target. First, we got our materials and then planned out what we were doing. We planned to make a big laser route that went around the room. We planned to set up the laser by the couches and have the mirrors point at each other in a zigzag-like line.
For our building process, we needed to include and use 6 mirrors, a laser, and a prism. We wanted our laser to go all around the big area on the bottom floor. The mirrors would go along the perimeter of the room, reflecting all around. Then the laser would come back to where it started and hit the target. If this plan didn't work, then our backup plan was to simplify what we already have, but make it smaller and on the carpet. We used the carpet as our perimeter and border lines.
During the laser challenge, our team went through a lot of design flaws. Many challenges showed themselves to our group, which were of course objects that the laser couldn't pass through. This was because originally we tried to spin the whole main room, which was of course inefficient. This original design made us constantly change the way we thought about the laser, which eventually led to our final design, which would only span the size of a small carpet. In the final version, we would also use a prism to reflect the laser into the target.
One of our failures was that we had to redesign the whole thing. People kept on walking through our laser and it was really hard to get work done. Because of this, we had to make it smaller.
In our second design, we often had to adjust the mirrors to make the laser go where we wanted it to. To adjust our mirrors, we would add paper underneath the mirrors on one side or another to tilt them so the laser would go lower to the ground. Our major issue was it would keep on shooting up towards the ceiling or higher up on the walls, and so we often had to do the paper method so it would go lower to the ground to go onto the next mirror.
Throughout the process of making a working laser contraption, our group went through a couple mistakes along the way. Our first plan to get it to go the farthest was to make it as big as the first floor. After a couple of mirrors were set up, the group realized that it was harder to track where the lasers were and that it would take them longer to finish the project. Another problem that we ran into was the fact that people were walking in front of where the beam was, causing the visual of the laser to be lost. Lastly, it was taking longer to adjust the angle of the mirrors to hit the other objects. We would have had to adjust and then readjust the mirrors. This also created the problem of people knocking over the mirrors after they had been set up.
After the trials of trying to get the mirrors set up correctly, the group decided as a whole that we needed to make a smaller space for the mirrors, prism, and target to occupy. The in-person portion of the group moved to the colored rug in the back corner of the first floor to start setting up the items again. With a little bit of redrawing and getting ideas from all around, the group started to rebuild and establish how they wanted it to look and work. After about 15 minutes, the laser beam finally hit the target in the spot that we wanted it. We then could go on to complete the other elements of the project.